Welcome back to another episode of the Unbanked podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We have Glasto. This guy has a very extensive NFT collection, and he's also the co-founder of the Web3 Hub. So without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure to finally be here. Like Jeff said, I've been in the crypto Web3 space for a little now. It's a passion of mine. Getting on this podcast and doing things like this is just something that I love to do, being able to chop up about, Web3 and the space. So it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for finally having me.
For sure, man, for sure. I like having people on so they can kind of talk about their journeys. I think, the journey of getting into crypto, into Web3, I think everybody has their own unique journey. And people can learn from it because right now, I still believe that we're still very early in this space. And just people hearing other people's stories, it can be kind of inspiring, kind of hear how they came into the space, didn't know anything, and kind of just fell down a rabbit hole of Web3. So how did you get into crypto?
My journey with crypto started kind of randomly. I was hearing about it here and there, little bits of Bitcoin popping up just around social media. My real first dip into crypto was actually the Dogecoin. I got into that wave, and that was just a real eye opener for me because I saw, the real power of a movement, of a coin. And that's really where it started for me personally, which it was Dogecoin. And that was way back. I don't even remember when. It feels like years ago. I know it really wasn't, but it feels like time flies in this space. Yeah, so that's where it started with me. And then with Dogecoin, it's just really, it trickled down to tons of different coins, different projects that literally sitting and doing your own research kind of led into. And as sure as many of us know, that's what usually happens in this space is you kind of go down the rabbit hole of coins and things. So that's where the journey started with me.
You kind of fell down that rabbit hole. Did you watch YouTube videos, or how did you kind of learn more about the space?
For me, it was Instagram and YouTube. I'm a big YouTube head, YouTube University. I think YouTube is a powerful tool to learn. So yeah, for me, it was Instagram and YouTube. The mixture of both kind of just really helped me kind of go in. And believe me, bro, it wasn't an easy journey in the beginning. There was a lot of trial and error and a lot of just, I don't want to say wasted money, but obviously you don't know much in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was not rough, but we make the mistakes in the beginning. And that's definitely something that happened with me with, little small things. But
it's just an expensive lesson. That's all it is. Nothing's really a failure. It's just an expensive lesson. So what do you think your biggest challenge when you first got into crypto? What do you think that was?
Probably diversifying my portfolio instead of really just honing in and kind of being a whale with one coin. It was getting into a bunch of them instead of just a few. I feel like I could have diversified a little bit more and made some smarter plays with that.
That makes sense. I think a big thing is as well, is there's so many new things coming out. It's kind of hard to stay focused on one thing. You have new protocols being built out, when you have new developers coming in, just doing a lot of cool stuff in the space. It's like you want to get a piece of everything. Then when you're that spread out, you can't really focusing on one thing.
There's both sides have a positive and negative. You kind of diversify a lot, and then it's a little too much. And then if you hone in just a little bit too much on a few specific coins, you're kind of missing out on all the other things that are going down, which happens so quickly. But there's a balance. And again, over time, you kind of figure that out over your style of how you like to trade or how you like to invest. And again, all this knowledge comes with just time and kind of learning on your own and figuring out as you go.
That's true. So got into crypto, seen Dogecoin, seen other different tokens. What got you into building out your extensive NFT portfolio now?
Oh, man. It obviously started with crypto. And then I really don't remember what or how kind of I stumbled on NFTs. It was just, it kind of coexisted in the same world. I heard about it. And then something just flickered in my head. I'm a collector. I like to collect things prior to, Web3 and NFTs. I was collecting as a youngin' cards, clothes, shoes, regular collectible stuff. Yeah. So when I found out about NFTs, just a light bulb went off in my head, more about the collecting side of anything and being like, wow, these are cool little assets to collect. And then it started from there. And then I got into, as everybody probably in the beginning does, just some BS projects or projects that I've learned my lessons quickly. And I really don't know the specific thing, honestly, that got me into it. It really just rolled in from crypto to NFTs. And then my journey started with just buying NFTs, really, ones that I thought were cool, just because they were cool. That was it.
So how do you typically sniff out BS projects for listeners? Like someone want to get an NFTs, how can they sniff out a BS project?
My advice for anybody looking to get into an NFT project or find a project that is good or signs that it's doing bad is really look at the community, the activity from the founders. And a lot of the time, I would just advise you to spend literally a few hours maybe out of your day to do your own research, kind of dig on social medias, on the founders, maybe their past. You can never really know. I also would say kind of trust your gut with projects. As you grow and you get into these communities in the NFT space, the cool thing about Web3 is that the community is really, really supportive. And let's say you do get in and you don't really know what to do or how to sniff like a bad project out, you can really ask. And the community and people on Twitter or on Discord will really come to help and assist you and kind of tell you even their tricks of the trade that they do to kind of sniff out projects. And everybody has kind of different things that they do. But for me, it's really just checking out the community, seeing how active and responsive the community is from the founders or, on both ends. But that's really what I would probably tell people to do is just dig in and trust your gut, honestly.
So coming from somebody who used to collect a lot outside of the world of Web3, do you see a sense of like any similarities when you see the community aspect? So let's say, for example, if you're collecting shoes or if you're collecting Pokemon cards, whatever that may be, is the community the same or as helpful in Web3 as it was in the Web2 environment?
No, I actually think in my experience, Web3 has been probably the most supportive and the most open to lending a helping hand. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because it's so new. Maybe that's just because how, it's just kind of came to be. But I've experienced that the Web3 is extremely, extremely supportive. And that's why there's going to be a lot of power in Web3 and in NFT space because of the amount of support that people and projects give to one another. So I would say Web3 is just the most powerful community-driven kind of space that I've been in ever, for sure. And I love it.
What is an NFT project that you felt like, man, this community is amazing. I love it. I love it.
Specifically, I'd love to talk about a project that I think really hones in on community. There were two, really, the Space Riders NFT and the Randoms NFT. Those are probably two of my top favorite projects. And both of them are very heavy with the community and both seen grow and just become something beautiful. Those two projects I kind of use as an example for community because they've grown to be something really, really dope, really supportive. And yeah, those two are a great example of a community in NFT space.
I love it. What do you think are some major components or some key indicators that somebody has a good community? Like, what are some things that you look for?
I think naturally it just happens for people. With communities, I feel like it starts with, specifically in the NFT space, it starts with the art, right? You find a project or, something that you like with the NFT, and then you kind of look next at the community. I think it's just about kind of getting in there and kind of letting people know who you are, saying hi, introducing yourself, and then seeing how they react. If you get a good feeling and, you see some maybe familiar faces in the space, like some friends that you've seen in Web3 and you're just getting a good response, people are introducing themselves back. I think with that, that's a good indicator. And that's just a good sign the community is welcoming and that you're going to have a good time in there. So I think that's really just a great way. Honestly, just hop in and see how everything is. If you go into a space and it's dead and maybe 2-3 days go by, nobody responded or, something, I could probably say that's like a good indicator that it's either not active or there's just, the community isn't really there anymore. So yeah, just dive in and see, introduce yourself and see how active the community is. And you'll get a feel for the community and if you like it or not.
So when it comes to NFTs, I know there's a lot of use cases for it. But as far as for collecting, is it more so community that gets your eye, or is it the utility that you get along with the?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all three. But aside from the community, you can look at the utility. What is it offering to you when you buy that asset? Aside from having a collectible or a good piece of art in your wallet. So yeah, definitely the utility is a huge part that I think balances out the art side and then the utility side for sure. Some projects don't have a utility though, or are developing their utility, and that's also something that you have to be aware of as well. Sometimes the utility isn't available necessarily right up front and you might have to wait a little. And that's where like doing your own research and kind of having knowledge of what's going to be happening in the future for that project is super important because sometimes the utility isn't necessarily available yet, which is okay, because projects are still developing. But that's definitely a super important thing that I look for as well.
What's the coolest utility you've seen in the NFT so far?
I've seen it. I don't own any of the NFTs. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about it. There's a music NFT by Styles P. I'm sure you know Styles P, LOX from back in the day. He has a a project. He's pretty heavily into Web3 style speed, but he has a project now. One of his utility is if you own a specific trait in that project, or maybe it's just a specific NFT in that collection, you actually get a smoke session with him. And get to hang out with him and chill with him. And I think that's pretty awesome. As a fan, as somebody who thinks that could be a good opportunity even to get in the door with, somebody that you've looked up to or like in the industry, that's an extremely, extremely powerful utility. And I think that's really cool. That's one that I recently just heard of. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It's mixing IRL and, the Web3 world. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think people have to understand that, you own these NFTs. It's kind of like having digital collectibles. So you actually get, stuff that can benefit you in real life. So I look at things like country club memberships or any type of membership where you need maybe a key card to get in. Now, instead of the key card, you have an NFT, right? So there's a lot of different use cases for NFT projects that's going to get adopted that I see, which is going to be, it's just going to be crazy because now you have that exclusive access with the NFTs.
Exactly. And kind of merging into that, when the Web3 Hub, which is a project that I'm co-founding, is something that we're really focusing on, which is kind of really trying to understand how businesses can utilize the blockchain and NFTs for memberships and for things that would help their business. Just to bring that up, because you were talking about memberships, but something that I'm really interested in. And I understand that the technology could really help that membership side of things. So that's something that for 2023, the Web3 Hub and myself personally, I'm really going to focus on and see how we can kind of develop a system and something along those lines to help businesses like that.
So let's pivot over and let's talk about the Web3 Hub. For those who don't know, what is the Web3 Hub?
The Web3 Hub is a community for creatives, founders, developers, and moderators. Ultimately, really, it's a community for builders in the Web3 space, founded by myself and a friend of mine that I met in the Web3 space on the journey, BV23, who I consider a good friend now. We wanted to create a space that could kind of just umbrella, a bunch of builders in the Web3 space. So we started it. I don't remember the official date. Again, time flies in this space, but it's pretty new. But we have a good community so far. And yeah, that's where we're at.
So how does the process work? If I'm a creator, if I'm a builder, how do I get access to the Web3 Hub?
If you are interested in joining the Web3 Hub, you can either DM the Web3 Hub on Twitter or DM either me or the other founder, and we would basically get you into the Discord. And that's ultimately it. It's open to anybody that is basically working in Web3. So all you have to do is just reach out and we would get you into the Discord.
How does that work? Is it, once I get into the Discord, is there something that you guys provide, or what is inside the Discord exactly? Is it just a group where we just talk, or?
Yeah, so the Discord now is just the meeting spot for the community, basically. Again, it's still kind of in the early process of where that's kind of being built, but we do have that as our main hub right now. When you enter the Discord, you're just asked to do a quick application and just to say your name, what you do in Web3, so we can get to know a little bit more information about you, and then you're in. And we do have some cool things now that the Web3 Hub is kind of offering and partnering with. One is a project called Thinkable. We have their technology, which is basically a Web3 Hub job searching network kind of thing. What we do is they send job listings right to the Discord for our members. So if any of the members are interested in, some job opportunities in the Web3 space, they could directly apply through the Discord. So we set that up a few weeks back, and it's really cool. There's some really cool opportunities out there. And like I said, it goes to the Discord. They can check it out. And then again, just click and apply and it gets sent to them. Another thing that we recently just did, it was last night, we are offering virtual offices to our members. It's kind of trying something new for the new year, but we wanted to offer the members a space that they could maybe do some work or have a meeting like this in a private area outside of like Zoom or Twitter or something like that. So we're offering that now. It's a cool little kind of test run with that and see who would be interested in how we can maybe work in that space and be productive there. So those are the two things that are happening now. And aside from that, really the Discord is just the community. So everybody has different roles, creatives, developers, moderators, and it's used to just communicate and kind of talk to each other about what's going on, building off of each other, helping each other. And we have a bi-weekly Twitter space every Saturday at 12 p.m. where we call it a community get together. And we are looking to just bring all the communities from the space together to talk about Web3.
One question that I had was, if I'm a creative, what is considered like my role in Web3 Hub? Or if I'm a founder, what is considered my role in Web3 Hub? Or You talked about some of the different roles that you have.
Well, if you're a creator, the Web3 Hub, to me, it would be a really good platform for you to kind of introduce yourself to other founders and people that are looking for designers or artists for their projects. So if you're a creator, you come in and there are things that you can post your work. And again, it's just to kind of network and see who is out there. So yeah, for a creative, it's a good tool because you could just come in and kind of show off your work and also just meet other creatives and kind of talk about the different things that you guys do in the space, whether that's talking about iPads, software, different tools. So yeah, that's a good thing. Founders could come in, meet other founders and talk about issues that they're having within their communities. Again, the whole idea is that it's like a staff office. There's no employees here. So you can really get down to the nitty gritty and talk about issues that, really are happening instead of having to worry about maybe I'm talking in the Discord or something like that. So that's what we really wanted to provide with the roles and the different channels, founders, developers, and stuff like that. So everybody can talk and kind of just, express what they're going through.
A place where like-minded individuals just go and network and just kind of mastermind a little bit. I like that. I've been in there for a while, and the community is definitely active and very helpful as well for anything that you need. I see a lot of Web3 Hub. So what are some of your visions that you see with Web3 Hub?
Well, some of the visions for 2023, 2 goals/visions. One we spoke about before, which was the kind of the bridge between Web3 and Web2 and how the technology can really help businesses. That's going to be something that we're really focusing on this year. But the other goal, the other vision is really just building the community. It takes a lot of time and effort to build a community. Again, that's something that we wanted to do and kind of just really focus on and create like a quality space for the people that are working in Web3. So that's what we're going to do in 2023.
What are some of the biggest challenges that come along with building a community?
Definitely balancing out your real life and Web3, I think is the biggest challenge. I currently run my own business here in New York. So having to balance that with Web3 is definitely probably the biggest thing for me. It's just because, again, it has to do with time. I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles personally for me.
I think balance is something that we're all trying to figure out as we go along.
I think with Web3 too, a lot of time, because it moves so fast, we don't want to miss anything. And we're kind of so scared to miss a few days or even hours because something might happen, even as a founder, or even just somebody as a member in the community that you don't want to miss. So, having to have that constantly on your mind could become extremely stressful. There's also something that I could tell, people and founders or people in the community or in the space is definitely watch out for burnout because it's real. And you definitely want to balance out, your personal life, your free time with Web3. Because you don't want to ever be put in that negative headspace. We've all been there where we're in that burnt out position and we just feel really negative. So yeah, just definitely balance out everything and take some time away. It'll always be here, Web3. So definitely touch some grass and take some time away for the mental health for sure.
That's one of the biggest things. I think FOMO in the crypto space is real because one day or 1 week, if you're gone for 1 week in the crypto space, it feels like 6 months.
Yeah.
It feels like you've been gone forever. So I definitely agree with that. I have 2 final questions for you before we wrap up. My first question is...
You're going to get me with these.
I'm going to get you with these.
Yeah.
My first question is, what is it going to take to onboard the next 100 million users in crypto?
All right, good. You started off with the easy question. I think what it's going to take to onboard the next 100 million, whatever amount of people is education. But more important, we need people like you, man. We need people like you who are putting out content on education and knowledge about everything. And I think that's where we've spoken before. That's how I met you because I basically saw your content and I was like, wow, this is exactly what is needed in this space. So I think the biggest thing that is going to be needed is just education and getting the education out there properly in clean content, in words that are easy for the public to understand. And that's going to really help us onboard, the rest of the world. Eventually, it's just proper education.
Education and making it simple. That's true. So, you ready for the lesson?
Nope.
I'm going to let you think about this one for a little bit. My last question is, what is something that you want to see in the crypto space that you don't want to build out yourself?
I don't know, man. I don't really know. I don't know if it's Jeff, man, you're killing me with this question.
The thing about the crypto space is anything is possible.
It would be interesting to see if there was ever a platform or a way to start holding people more accountable for quote unquote rug projects. Maybe it'd be a platform, maybe it'd be a way to identify or I don't know, but that's definitely something that I wouldn't want to do because I know that would take an extremely a long amount of time, and there's a lot of stress in that. But I think it would be a cool idea to have maybe like a form of protection for people, like a directory or, a newsletter of rug pulls or founders that weren't necessarily, doing good in this space.
Ranking founders based on their reputation.
Yeah, something like that. Again, kind of just to deal, and battle the whole issue with rug pulls and projects that are bad, kind of giving people the heads up or, information on people or projects that they may not have, I think could really help maybe save some people or some time eventually in the future.
Oh, that's to be interesting. I like that. I like that.
I'm surprised I came up with that right now, man. I was trying to think of a lot, but I really do think that could be, it could help, because again, they're not going to go away. Those people, those kind of projects, hopefully it lessens over time, but there's always going to be those kind of people and those kind of projects. So it would be a cool kind of thing to see, so who knows, maybe somebody will have the time and development skills to pop something out like that.
And hopefully somebody listens to this podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the whole goal of asking those two final questions, because somebody might get inspired and just build something out, man. I think for the most part, crypto, it's just all about imagination.
It really is. I like your mindset. And I think a lot of people need to open up their mindset like that. It's really crypto, the NFT space, anything is possible now. It's still really so new. And imagine just in 2 years where we're going to be, where businesses are going to be, where projects are going to be, where Unbanked will be, where the Web Hub, the Web3 Hub will be. It's all going to be progression. And the people that are here and that are willing to really see that vision through will have a really good time and a really awesome, experience in this space. So
Glasto, I appreciate you hopping on this podcast and talking with me. I'm excited about Web3 Hub and see the future of it. I'm excited about you as a founder. I hope you the best. Wish you the best. That wraps up this episode of The Unbanked. See you guys in the next episode.